Why is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
I know what you're thinking, and yes, I did wake up like this.
Wow. Amazing. If I could be so lucky.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's a gift.
I like that you're wearing a t-shirt with, I believe it has us on it.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think
it does.
so. Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Can I kick it?
Mhm.
Yes, you can.
Mhm.
So where are you heading? Refresh my memory.
To my niece's baby shower.
Okay.
The first great, I'm going to be a great aunt now.
A great aunt.
I know.
That's
My parents are going to be great grandparents.
That sounds like a lot of pressure.
Nah, I am a great aunt. I'm an excellent aunt. Yes, I'm the best aunt.
Well, will you please welcome to the show?
Mame.
Yes, all your nieces and nephews too.
They will back me up.
It's like this is your life, but a lot sadder.
Oh, it is not.
This is Why, with your hosts, Heidi Hedquist and Luke Poling.
Both of us know that crime does not pay, but I feel like you might need a refresher.
I probably do.
So we discussed a while ago the two fishermen accused of putting weights inside their fish that they caught during a tournament. So in March, they pleaded guilty to charges of cheating and unlawful ownership of wild animals.
Wow.
Yeah, they're not messing around in Cleveland, I believe it is.
Probably. It
Like
seems like
Erie
an Ohio
walleye.
thing. Yeah. Of course it's walleye.
Right. 10 days in jail,
Oh,
6 months probation,
wow.
and you have to turn in your boat and trailer.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that does not go well in Michigan or Ohio.
No.
The boat and trailer is life.
Yeah, no. And then on top of all of that, they have their fishing licenses suspended for 3 years.
That's going to be worse too. I think they would take longer jail time to keep the licenses.
To say nothing of your trailer and boat.
Well, right.
And you're going to have to come up with another inventive name for your boat.
Oh my God, that's true. What was the name of their boat?
It doesn't say, because CNN, or I guess this is the AP, they don't really focus on the important things.
No.
How did they cheat? Whatever. No one cares.
Right.
Yeah, nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be in the lead.
Yeah. So I'm going to guess, I don't want to speak ill of these men, because enough people probably have already.
Yes, I'm sure.
But if you're going to cheat at a walleye fishing tournament, I'm going to guess your creative boat names are probably not blowing everyone away.
I don't know, because they might be blowing everybody away, but unintentionally, right? So there might be some really fantastic boat name that was not intended to be funny, but is hilarious.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
Like Bassman or Hey Great Bass.
Right. Shaking that bass.
I see you, baby, shaking that bass. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Bass God.
Yeah, it's
Bassomatic. I mean, Bassomatic.
That would be very good.
It actually should just be.
It
but
really
then
should
it's
be.
like, walleye. So then you got to think they're probably going to go with something. Because apparently now I affiliate walleye, although it's a very Michigan fish, I affiliate it with all things he who we no longer claim in Detroit.
Ted Nugent?
No.
Oh.
They'll claim him.
Oh, Kid Rock.
Kid Rock. Because like the iconic line of his song that we can't believe is a hit anywhere but Michigan is catching walleye from the dock.
Yeah, I missed that one. Is that Picture?
No, all summer long. Maybe it is only big in Michigan.
No, that one's big everywhere. With the solo in the wrong key.
Yes.
Low fun fact on that one.
It is definitely in the wrong key.
So interesting. I did not know that. But Ted Nugent equally has had some issues as of late.
Well, yes, but I think he's sort of like the Prince Andrew
Mm,
We're not proud of his behavior.
right. He gets
But
to stand on the very, very edge of the
We don't, he still
balcony.
doesn't, no, he didn't get to come to the balcony,
Okay.
but we don't, ship him off, and
Mm,
he still gets, we still claim him.
I see. Um,
We don't not acknowledge his children's birthdays because we're quite fond of his children.
right. So interesting. And then the other thing we talked briefly, and we can touch on this briefly because I know we get a lot. Let's be
I
honest
know,
here.
we do.
Oh, I hate these. Okay, here we go. So the fact that Prince William was left unable to walk for a week after pre-coronation exploits is what the Daily Mail
This
says.
seems ridiculous.
He admitted his struggle while carrying out an investiture ceremony at Windsor Castle, where he handed ex-England striker Luther Blissett an OBE.
I mean, I believe he's like sore, hobbling, hips are tight, all of that. But it's not like I'm sure this was more intense than most of the things, but on an average week, they're walking a lot in uncomfortable shoes.
Right. It sounds like he was playing football before the coronation.
Oh, well,
so.
And it's not the coronation that did.
Right. And then apparently the other thing I just saw that's interesting, Kate told him, people can read your lips now, so watch what you say.
Kate is a wise woman.
She is the smart one in the family, clearly.
The smartest, the prettiest.
Yeah.
The wittiest.
Yes.
She's like Angelica from Hamilton.
So who's Peggy? Is that the what'd you say?
I don't like Peggy.
Oh, I know. No one likes Peggy.
Poor Peggy.
How did you get started playing music? Was it on I'm assuming not the organ, but piano or keyboard?
A lot of people actually assume that you have to kind of graduate from the piano to the organ.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we, both my sister and I started taking lessons when we were about 5 years old on the organ. So
really?
The organ was my first instrument. And I tell people this all the time. My parents kind of just forced us. So
Why?
we had growing up.
Were they big Booker T? Why did they force you on the organ? Were they both like Booker T and the MGs fans? What was the?
No, actually, my dad plays the accordion, and he's a big fan of Lawrence Welk.
Who isn't? I grew up on Lawrence Welk.
Yeah. So I think he just had the love of the sound of the organist on the Lawrence Welk show, and I think by that time, I was born in '77, so I started taking maybe 1982, 83. So I think by that time, the accordion was kind of getting out of style, or probably already out of style.
Thank God for Weird Al.
I was going to say, yeah. Brought it back.
So yeah, so he, he started both my sister and I on the organ. She later moved over to the violin.
Much more respectable.
Well, I kind of just stuck with it, and I still play the accordion as well, and I played the piano too, but the organ was my first instrument.
Okay, I want you on my team for any sort of agility, like, I don't know, sort of competition, because to be able to master both of those instruments, you have to like pat your head, rub your stomach, do a flip, chew gum, walk, talk, everything all simultaneously. They're crazy. So I feel like starting hard was the right way to go. Like the piano has to be a breeze.
Any idiot can play the piano.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I can play the piano.
Well, with all three of those instruments, you have the keyboard part. That's the common kind of thing in all three of those instruments, but they all present their own different challenges. So, with the accordion, there's buttons on one side and a piano keyboard on the other side. I play what's called a piano accordion. So there's a piano keyboard on another side. So, yeah, it is definitely hard, and it takes a long time to really get the coordination, really in any instrument you play. But I would say, especially for the organ and the accordion, coordination is definitely a different thing.
Well, because yeah, with the accordion, you've got the like not the breath, but the actual back and forth of the bellows to make sure the sound is. It's a lot. So, how does one go from just a normal kid growing up playing the accordion, playing the organ, to playing for the Atlanta Braves?
Well, throughout my young adulthood, I went through college, got a couple degrees in music, actually in piano. So in the jazz world, there's not many places that offer a degree in jazz organ, and that would have been my first choice, out of high school. But I ended up playing piano and getting degrees at Georgia State University, here in downtown Atlanta, and all throughout me getting my degrees, I was also teaching piano and organ and accordion. And one of my adult students just happened to know the guy who was kind of, I wouldn't say he was in charge of hiring, but he was the sound man who was looking for a new organist for the Braves. So during a lesson one time, he said, would you ever be interested? I said, without even just hesitating, I said, sure. I never had even thought about it before then. It just kind of fell in my lap.
Were you a Braves fan, or is this the part we should cut out? Where you're like, love the
No,
Rangers.
I think I may lose a couple Braves fans, but I think most of them know that I grew up in Chicago.
Okay.
I grew up a Cubs fan, but I think once I got employed by the Braves, I became a Braves fan. However, I think your loyalty with your team that you grew up watching never quite leaves, does it?
Right.
No.
You always love your first girlfriend or boyfriend.
Well, look at Magnum. He's got the Tiger's hat on after all that time in Hawaii.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As everyone should.
True. Very, very true. So I'm assuming you had to audition for the role.
Yeah, so I had an interview with my actually, who's still my current boss. He's still there. And I brought a CD of just me playing what I thought was baseball sounding organ tracks.
Was it just that just for like 45 minutes?
Well, some of that, but yeah, I knew that there would also be songs, in addition to all the charges and claps and kind of crowd prompt songs. I played some songs and they're like, take me out to the ball game, and what I thought was organ or baseball organ sounding stuff, which really was my my reference for that was Wrigley Field. Growing up, going to Cubs games, the organ was a prominent part, and it still is, of Wrigley Field. So I kind of just made that little CD, and during the interview is when he brought up, he wanted an organist to kind of play off players' names and have kind of a connection with whatever's going on in the game. So that's kind of the genesis of what my job entailed. And then my audition was actually 2 spring training games that same season, but they were at Turner Field. So back then, they don't still do this, but back then they had 2 spring training games at the home stadium just to get the employees ready, to get the kind of the home graphics department and audio department, video department all ready for the season. They've kind of stopped doing that, but those 2 games, maybe there's 10,000 people in each game in attendance. It wasn't a packed house or anything, but I always tell people that my audition was for 10,000 people.
Yeah,
Serious?
that's got to be daunting. I just feel like I'd be leaning out the window yelling, "Clap, damn it!" Like, come on, like really, you got to do me a solid here.
Well, for me, the hardest part, the playing part, I was pretty confident in at that point. That was in 2009, so I was, I guess, 32 years old. So the playing part I was fine with, but I actually, at Turner Field, before we moved to Truist Park, I was in a whole different location from our director. So I was actually in the press box at Turner Field with the reporters, and usually the visiting reporters were right in front of me. So I had to take all my direction from my headset And sometimes I had to take direction while I was playing. So they wanted to see if I could handle playing and listening to the instructions at the same time. For example, he'll say like, okay, let's stop the organ in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And, not that that's a huge, thing to get used to, but, when you're concentrating on what you're playing.
Right, to the
Yeah.
already very complicated hand, footwork, mind work.
Yeah, so I think they just wanted to see if I was, number one, make some sort of disastrous mistake, which I didn't do. You know what? What's funny about it? They didn't even let me play "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" for those two. They didn't trust me for the first 2 games.
That's funny.
Wow.
They actually played a
That's
recording
sacred.
of the previous organist.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
That's
You gotta walk that one off.
right.
Yeah,
Wow.
but I think after those 2 games, they gave me some playing time before the game, and they saw that I was capable of handling their directions, and I guess the pressure of playing for thousands of people
Every night,
Mhm.
For a very long season.
if you're lucky. Yeah, very long season.
Mhm.
So how much leeway do you have with that? Because I've seen other organists online sort of really playing up we're going to make fun of this opposing player's last name. We're going to find a way to work in, musically. How much time do you take before the game? Reporters have their research they need to do to call the game. You've got a whole nother type of research where you're like, okay, if Mike Trout comes up, perfect, we'll play Fish.
Mhm.
This is perfect. But like, how much work do you do to get to that level?
Well, at first it was just really my wife and I kind of coming up with songs and looking at the roster, usually like a day before the game. But these days, with my Twitter following, my Twitter address is @BravesOrganist, and I have a Facebook page as well. Between those 2 pages, all I have to do is choose what the fans are requesting.
Mm.
And what I have to do is I choose the songs that are number one possible to play on the organ. Because sometimes certain songs just don't grab your attention on the organ, or can't really be made into something recognizable on the organ.
Fair.
So I have to choose the songs that work best. And then number 2, I choose the songs that I try to choose songs that all ages would kind of recognize. So if I always play like newer pop songs, then ages 40 and up may not get the reference.
Mhm.
And then if I choose all old, like 20s and 30s standards, then the newer generation won't quite understand the songs I do. So I try to choose songs that are instantly recognizable, as well as, people are able to get the reference right away. Pretty much obvious.
Mhm. That seems like that's got to be difficult.
Yeah.
Well, it's taken me, this is my 15th season this year, so I've had some practice over, I think, 1,100 games. So,
I mean, it's a long season.
mhm.
Well, and then you're also doing your own music in addition. You're working with other musicians. How do you not just like take the winter off?
Actually, I kind of almost see them as 2 different careers. So I have
Yeah.
my baseball career, which actually begins in mid-February because I play for college baseball. Yeah, so college baseball begins usually around February 15th, like right around Valentine's Day, which my wife has gotten used to me not being home for any holiday really
Yeah.
with my job. So before the season starts, I've already done probably like 15 college games. I do the University of Georgia over here, and Auburn sometimes, and Georgia Southern, and Mississippi State. So I kind of travel around the Southeast.
You're sort of organist to the stars.
Right.
Well, I
My words, not yours.
I'm very fortunate. So from February to when the Braves have good seasons till about November,
Yeah.
I'm kind of tied up. But whenever they're out of town, I try to fit a gig in here and there. So for many years, for about 16 years, I've been playing with a salsa band here in Atlanta. where I play salsa piano music. I also play in various jazz bands, so I consider myself a jazz musician first. That's kind of my love when I play the instruments that I play. And I'll just take random gigs here and there sometimes too. So sometimes I'm playing with a blues band. I have my own polka band, so during Oktoberfest season.
Ooh, good idea.
Yeah, I play the papa and the accordion. So yeah, it is a balance. And I also am a teacher as well. I teach piano lessons and organ and accordion lessons, mostly piano lessons because not too many young kids are wanting
Just say it,
accordion
kids
lessons
these days. Kids these days. Just say it.
Actually, these days I have 2 8-year-old accordion students,
Oh,
which
be still my heart. That's amazing.
which I have to teach them about the wonders of Lawrence Welk.
Yes, it's time.
Or James
They'll
Best,
be like, wait,
right?
maybe we're rethinking this, but no, it is. You have to just go right down the vortex.
Mhm.
So, like you were saying, like them not letting you play Take Me Out to the Ball Game, there are certain standards that you have to play every night. Are there any ones that you just get tired of, where you're just like, I can't do another 7th inning stretch slow jam or whatever it is?
Well,
Or is it just still, I'm making the people happy?
yeah, with the 7th inning stretch, I don't mind it because to have a sing-along, to have everyone singing along with you is a pretty big thrill.
Good point.
And I've played it so many times I could do it in my sleep now, but it's still a thrill, especially when people are really singing along with you. When the stadium is packed, it's a great thing. No, I don't know if I get really tired of any of the, because I switch things up from game to game, especially with the walk-up songs that I play. There's different players coming up to bat, so I'll try to mix it up for those players. Even for the same player, I'll try to play. For example, if there's Trout, I might play Under the Sea, and then Fishing in the Dark, and then any song by Van Fish. So there's a lot of kind of avenues you could go there. So no, I don't think I really get tired of any of it.
Is there one that you just love to put on rotation? One that you just maybe sneak in the mix more often than others because it's just really fun?
Yeah, well, there's certain bands that I like that I know that the Braves fans and even opposing teams fans know that I like. So I'm a big Rush fan. So I like to throw in a song called Subdivisions by Rush that people recognize right away.
Perfect.
I like the band Fish. I'm a huge Beach Boys fan. As you can tell behind me, there's
I was going to say, I'm seeing
the poster of Smile there.
Yeah.
Pet Sounds. Is that Pet Sounds in the back?
That's a signed copy by Mike Love and Bruce Johnston.
There you go.
Sounds there, and then a picture. You can't really see it, but a picture of me and David Marks, who was one of the kind of core members from the beginning, and then there's another picture of me and Mike Love and Bruce Johnston. So
amazing.
I'm a huge Beach Boys fan.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do stick in songs, that are from my personal taste, but I realize that not everyone likes my personal taste in music. So
But those are both really good ones. And if you should question anybody who doesn't have appreciation for both of those bands.
yeah, there you go. Even today, I was just listening to this one.
There you go. Yes, there you
The
go.
Monkeys headquarters. Yeah.
So how does By Tor and the Snow Dog sound on the accordion? Or I'm sorry, on the organ. Good.
The whole 8-minute version.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I'm assuming you just played 2112 during like rainouts and stuff.
the whole first side.
Yes, exactly. Here we go. Strap yourselves in.
Luckily, I only have to learn snippets of songs.
It's true.
So when during the game, I play snippets of song. Before the game, actually for batting practice, I play pretty much for an hour nonstop of just kind of background. What they want at the Brave Stadium is more of an old-timey feel. So I try to stick with standards, being a jazz musician, I'm sticking with Gershwin and Irving Berlin and Cole Porter and stuff like that. But I'll throw in some Brain Damage by Pink Floyd in there, and I'll throw in
Perfect.
some California Girls and Sail on Sailor, and
Very nice.
and then I'll try to make it sound old timey in a way.
Yeah.
Until my bosses tell me to tone things down.
Mm.
But yeah, I guess I tend to ask for forgiveness rather than permission on a lot of things.
Probably the way to go about it.
For sure.
How old is your organ?
The organ behind me over here is from, I believe, the 60s. So I have a Hammond B3 organ here at the house.
Very nice.
At the stadium, it's a newer one. So at the
Okay.
stadium, it's maybe 8 years old. It's a Hammond SK2, which logistically works really good because you could plug it straight into the mixing board.
Mm.
So for logistics, I think the newer product works there better.
Was that the one you had at Turner Field, or did you have to say goodbye to that organ and get a new one?
So at Turner Field, they actually had an electronic piano with an organ sound in it, which, yeah, it was like nails on the chalkboard to me. I
Yeah.
actually ended up, the last couple of seasons at Turner Field, I would bring in just a small keyboard with a better organ sound in it to augment what they had.
Yeah.
So luckily, when they moved to the new stadium, they asked me, give me your wish list of which organs you would like. And I give them the one, that costs $20,000,
Sure.
and the one that costs $10,000, and the one that costs $5,000, and they chose the one that cost $5,000. But it
Go
was,
figure.
you know what? It was perfect for me. I knew that they would probably choose the least expensive one, so I made sure it was something that I wanted.
Are you particular about it? Can other people touch your organ?
Well, the stadium's organ is theirs. It's not
Oh, okay.
it's not like I bought it.
True.
So anyone who goes, however, they're not going to let me just let any fan in there and start playing.
Sure.
And especially I'm in the press spot, or actually I'm in the audio room at Truist Park.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a secured area, and they won't let anyone in there anyways during the game. Sometimes I could bring visitors in if I ask for permission and stuff, but no, usually I just kind of, when I enter that room, I'm kind of in work mode. So I try to leave, the fan interaction for outside that room.
Yeah, because I'd come in there and start pressing everything and
Oh
playing.
my God. What does this button do? That'd be the
Yes.
worst. The worst.
Terrible. It's of all the instruments in all the world, I believe the organ is the hardest one to resist, whether you're a musician or not. Just attempting to touch something or push something or play something. It's just a world of temptation.
Well, at churches, if you're used to singing an organ in a church, it's usually a pipe organ.
Mhm.
So you've
Right.
got the pipes blasting, and it is very interesting to see all the tabs and stuff like that. It's very complicated.
Mhm.
The electronic organ, I use a Hammond organ, which is an electronic version really of a pipe organ. And so at first, Hammond organs were made to emulate pipes and kind of be a low-cost alternative to a pipe organ. But then it turned into its own kind of sound. Like, it doesn't sound like a pipe organ, but it sounds like a Hammond.
Yeah.
So it's not as ornate or as complicated looking as the big old pipe organs. So when I show people pictures of the organ at the stadium, they're like, that doesn't look like the one at my church.
Right, they're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're not
Oh.
a real organ.
But
I
it's
will
got
s-
everything an organ has. So
Right.
by definition, the organ usually has two manuals, meaning a keyboard on top, a keyboard on the bottom, and then you have foot pedals.
Pedals,
And
yeah.
that organ at the stadium has all those things for me. So I'm not
That's
complaining.
all I would need to want to try to touch it or play it or do something.
I was going to say, all you need, any organ, you can get that soap opera sound. If you say it's not your child, Jim, and then you just do a G sharp, and then you're set. So you got a World Series ring, correct?
I do.
Oh,
Actually,
are we going to show and tell? Oh,
You would think that I would have like this whole trophy case.
right.
This is just right on my desk.
Sure. That's
That's
amazing.
awesome.
So it's
Very
what the
cool.
coolest part about it. Can you read that?
Yes. Put your
Yeah, so it's got my
Kaminski?
name. Oh, it's
Oh,
got my
That's
name
way
on the
yeah.
side
cool.
of it,
That's
That's
amazing.
engraved. And it also has a pearl. We had a player named Jock Peterson on the team
Hmm.
when we won, and he ended up wearing pearl necklaces during the games. One of his
Wow.
things. So it's a
Work.
pretty big ring. Like if you look at my finger, it's pretty big, and I can't play with it on.
No.
Mm,
So it's basically a decoration piece these days,
yeah.
and
I
it just
mean,
stays in my teaching studio.
it's amazing. You know, Liberace could play with them on. Just saying.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
So, what are you up to now? Are you recording a record? I mean, you're certainly busy enough teaching and then playing for what is it, 82 games a season? Is that right?
Mhm.
Something like that.
There's 81 regular season games. Hopefully more playoff games.
Fingers crossed. Hope springs
Um,
eternal.
This
Mhm.
past weekend, I played at Georgia Southern University, which is in Statesboro, Georgia, for their weekend series. And then during the weekdays, like right now, I have usually 3 or 4 students a day. These days, I teach mainly on Zoom.
Mm.
Since the pandemic, I've kind of gotten used to working at home. And I don't know if I want to go. I used to teach at a piano store here in town, which was about a 25-minute drive. So I'm kind of liking working from home here.
Yeah, that's 25 minutes too far.
Yeah. for
Yeah,
sure.
especially round trip with almost an hour.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, during the weeks when I don't have a Braves game, and my students understand my schedule, so I just tell them there's a Braves game next week, so I'll see you in 2 weeks. So they're pretty easygoing with me, and my our Braves game is on Friday, so we play. You know what? I don't even know who we play. I want to say we played the Marlins after the next series, but
So are you working
the-
on Tweezer and Chalk Dust Torture now, or are you saving that till closer to the game?
Well, Stash is always in my
Good one. Yep.
in my
Sure.
arsenal, and that's the one that all the Fish fans want me to play.
Makes
And they'll
sense.
do the clapping, and then whenever there's a player named Wilson, like Wilson Contreras, I'll play Wilson by Fish.
Okay, of course.
But yeah, I need to learn a couple more Fish songs, I think.
I mean, it's interesting because you've got to be one of the few people out there, apart from like, rock stars, huge musicians, who know that feeling of playing something and watching thousands of people react in the moment to, oh, that went over well, or they like that, or that Does that get tiring for you, looking out over the field and just seeing everyone enjoying what you're doing, or hopefully enjoying what you're doing?
I don't know about tired. I don't think about the numbers, meaning, if I'm playing for a college baseball game and there's only 1,000 people, and then I'm
Mhm.
playing for the Braves game and there's 42,000 people, to me, it's not really that much of a difference because I'm not like right in front of them playing.
Mm.
So
It's
they're
not a
not all
recital.
staring at me.
Right.
Even though I'm the one who's playing and making the mistakes if I do. So I don't know if it gets tiring, but I do like each game is a little bit different because some crowds are more interactive with what I do,
Mhm.
and then some crowds just won't do anything. So usually the Braves crowds are great, but it's funny, from college to college, like if I play a charge like ba-da-da-da-da-da, like a lot of times at college games you'll hear like one person, maybe a kid in the stands, but usually like they're too cool for school for a charge.
Yeah.
And then at the Braves game, the charges are one of the most popular things. You get the whole stadium saying charge. So it's weird what work in one stadium or one environment doesn't necessarily work in another environment. And I also like to do like kind of sing-along songs. So one that I really like, I like to do Don't Bring Me Down by ELO.
Mm.
The part goes, don't bring me down, and I try to and I'll stop playing, Or I try to get the crowd to go, woohoo. So wherever I could stick in more of the kind of sing-alongs, to me, that's really rewarding because I know that the fans are really listening. Because with the sing-alongs, I'll actually stop playing so I could hear them sing. Whereas, I think some other organists may keep on playing, but I love kind of that interaction of the crowd has to keep the song going.
For more information on Matthew, to find out where he is playing, obviously, besides the ballpark, and to maybe schedule lessons, check out his website.
Why the Podcast is produced by the Professional Production Company. Please be sure to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts because we're shallow and need constant validation. For more information, you can check out our website, whythepodcast.com. And like everyone else, we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Today's show was recorded and produced by Heidi Hedquist and myself from our world headquarters, located on the second floor of the professional office building, centrally located downtown. Our reluctant executive producers are John Sauvé and Sandy Stone. Our willing producers are Rachel Allen and Randy Jeanette. Our intern is Zach Jackson. This one's for Philippe. Thanks for joining us. Flash, we're coming home.
Nigel, is that you? Are you here, Nigel?